The fourth quarter is here, and it is the best time to be both selling and advertising on Amazon, the #1 e-commerce website in the world. Now is when you reap the reward for all the hard work you put in throughout the year creating beautiful products that customers are gonna love to give as gifts this holiday season. And there's no better way to boost visibility to your product listings than Amazon ads. Now, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on Amazon ads in the past, and I can tell you from experience, my personal favorite and most effective campaign types are sponsored product ads and sponsored brand ads. I'm gonna walk you through how to set up a sponsored product ad in just a second, but I wanted to talk to you about why sponsored brand ads can be so effective, starting with product collection ads. In a product collection ad, you can add both your logo and up to 3 products and show up at the very top of Amazon search, even above where the sponsored product ads usually render. This is the most effective, highest click-through rate type of ad that I've ever run myself. Now, the next type of ad are store spotlight ads, where you can advertise your Amazon print on demand or any other product that you sell on Amazon store and send traffic directly there and give them the choice of what products appeal most to them that they can purchase directly from the store. And then you can do some really cool things with Amazon stores these days, by the way. The third type of sponsored brand ad are video ads. And as you know, people are trending more and more towards favoring videos, whether it's a video ad or just consuming video content on social media. So there's no better time than now to get started with video ads. I've done videos in the past actually showing you that you can generate a video ad in your Amazon advertising console. And I can link to that in the YouTube cards right here in case you missed it. And I'll put a link in the description as well. So definitely try sponsored brand ads if you haven't already. They can be some of the most effective ways of advertising on Amazon. Next, I want to walk you through step-by-step how to set up a sponsored product campaign. As a viewer of my channel, you're probably familiar with Amazon Merch, Amazon KDP, and Amazon Seller Central. All 3 should give you access to the advertising console. So go ahead, log in, and click Create Campaign under Sponsored Products. On this screen, we're gonna create our first ad group and campaign. Now, campaigns can have multiple ad groups within them. Campaigns are the parent to the child ad groups. And within ad groups, you can have multiple products that are being advertised within each ad group. And again, I'm gonna give you my best strategy for how to structure all of this. First, we get to set up the ad group. So I'm gonna go ahead and name the ad group. It does give us a default name right here. I personally like to either name this after a specific niche or product type. In this case, and I'm guessing most viewers' cases, we're gonna wanna name it after a niche. So let's say I'm selling in the sports niche. I might say sports, or I could even get into each individual sport and get really granular. And the concept is if I call it sports, then any product I have in the sports niche will get added to this ad group. Otherwise, I could get very specific and say football, and then I'm just going to add football niche products. Now, I'm a fan of niching down, so I would probably get specific down to the niche level. So I'm gonna say football, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to say the word broad, and I'll explain why later. Broad refers to a match type, and I'll get into that in just a second. Now, when it comes to sites, this is a new addition to the advertising console. You get to choose if this is gonna appear on Amazon and beyond, where they appear, your ads appear on Amazon, including both Amazon Retail and Amazon Business, as well as select offsite apps and sites, or Amazon Business, where it's a business-to-business sales strategy, exclusively reaching out to businesses that might buy in like higher quantities. And by the way, the first product I ever sold on Amazon, without revealing it, because I do still sell it to this day, FBA, was really a business-to-business product. So I would go in and favor a B2B strategy, but probably most people watching this that are selling print on demand, Amazon and beyond is gonna be what you're after. Now, in terms of products, you're gonna see that if you log in from Amazon Merch or Amazon Seller Central, KDP, it'll pull in your products here, and then you can add them to this ad group in one click. So I went ahead and blurred out my products for privacy reasons, but I went ahead and added a product to this ad group that we can operate under the assumption is in the football niche, and you would go ahead and add all of your football niche products. By the way, whether you're on Amazon KDP, Amazon Merch, or Amazon Seller Central, you should be able to bulk export the ASINs, that is the unique Amazon ID for each product, in bulk. And then they do have an option here for entering an entire list of products, or you can upload a CSV of your products. So there's bulk features that make this easy to add your products if you have more than one to add. Scrolling down to the next section, targeting. Now I want to talk about both automatic targeting and manual targeting, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So automatic targeting is what it sounds like. It allows Amazon to look at what it knows about your product listing, the title, the bullets, the description, the backend keywords if it's a Seller Central product, and try to figure out how to match your ad with the right potential customer based on what they typed into the search bar. So automatic targeting is the easiest way to advertise your products on Amazon. And I do recommend taking advantage of that. Even if you just set a very low bid, automatic targeting bids for sponsored products can be as low as 2 cents per click. Now, you might not generate a lot of visibility and a lot of clicks, but it's better than nothing. That's about as cheap as it gets for visibility. Manual targeting, on the other hand, is the intended approach for this ad group that I'm setting up. And that's because, remember how we included the word broad? That refers to the broad match type, where we're going to provide keywords to Amazon that we want to advertise on. And guess what? They're going to be football related. You probably could have guessed. And then we can set the broad match type, which is going to cast the widest possible net. And I'll talk you through the other match types in a second. Now we're at the most important section, that is keyword targeting, where we need to both provide our keywords and provide our bids for this ad group and set the match type. So under bid, you can see that you have the option of using the Amazon suggested bid, which is going to assign dynamic bids to each keyword you want to advertise on, but it's based on what other sellers that are advertising on those keywords are currently bidding. So Amazon's really cool. They kind of give us a suggested range that it's a little bit revealing, right? Because if certain keywords are being bid up, it means they're probably really valuable keywords. Less valuable keywords you can probably advertise on for cheaper. Or you can go to custom bid and you can enter your own bid for every keyword that you add onto your ad group. Next, your filter by. So when I add keywords, I always like to do it personally in my approach that has worked for me for over 8 years with one match type at a time. So you have 3 match types: broad, phrase, and exact. I like to start with broad, which casts the widest net as it's implied. Phrase is the kind of middle ground between broad and exact, where it can be like a partial match. Like you might advertise for iPhone 7, but someone might type in black iPhone 7 case. So you got a partial match. That could be a phrase match. And then an exact match would be you're advertising on the keywords black iPhone 7 case, and someone types into the search bar black iPhone 7 case. So basically as close to an exact match as you'll ever get. That's why they call it exact. And those are the 3 match types. I like to use all 3 to my advantage, but create separate ad groups, one ad group for each. So just like this was the football-broad ad group, I'm then going to add an ad group called football-phrase and football-exact. And I'm going to bid the most per click on the football exact ad group, because an exact match, as it implies, is going to be most likely to convert, which means I should be willing to spend the most on that ad. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to spend the second most on phrase and the third most on a relative basis on the broad match. Now, when it comes to keywords, Amazon is giving me suggested keywords here based on the product that I gave it. You can see football shirt, football tee, football gift, football player, football's life. It's giving me keywords based on looking at my product listing and figuring out what customers are typing into the search bar related to football. Pretty cool. And it gives me the suggested bid. So they're trying to take the guesswork out of it. They really have done a great job making it easier and more intuitive to launch these ad campaigns. Beyond that, though, you can also add your own keywords. Typically, that's what I do. So I'm going to go up here and I clicked enter list. By the way, you can also upload a file, a CSV file or XLSX. But I usually just go into Notepad, write out my list of keywords, and then I'll manually just copy paste them here. So I would say something like football shirt, football player shirt, football player gift, stuff like that. And you'll notice as I type, Amazon goes into its autocomplete, which is based on what potential customers type into the search bar, and they're attempting to help us find the most relevant keywords. And then they're helping us with the bids. They're essentially helping us create a nice, well-structured ad campaign that's going to work for both us, the advertiser, but also the potential customer that's going to buy our product, that actually wants our product. So it's really cool. You can go ahead and click add keywords, and it's going to push them over here to the right-hand side. So you can see that football shirt on a broad match type is going to suggest a bid of 93 cents. But I can go ahead and click in there and I can adjust it. And if I think that's too much, I can say, well, I don't have that much profit in this shirt. I'm going to go ahead and say 25 cents. And I can hit save. And it's going to say, oh, well, we think you should increase the bid. But what's cool, guys, is if you start low, you can always come in after launching the campaign and increase your bids. You know, you again have the ability to monitor impressions, clicks, orders. You have all this data. So check in at least once a week, right? At least once a week. I know life gets busy. Set a Google Calendar reminder or something. Make sure you get in there and say, okay, it's said to bid between 50 cents and $1.30. It suggested 93 cents. I bid 25 cents because I'm being stubborn, but I want to see if I can save money. And it didn't work. I'm not getting the impressions. Then what you can do is go ahead and click, and it will then override your custom bid with 93 cents, the middle ground of the range it suggested, and then you're good to go and you can move on to the next thing. All right. So it works for every set of keywords that you add, as long as over here you have your bid set to suggested bid. Now, I wanted to make sure to emphasize this next part. Everything that we've done so far to set up our first ad group for the broad match type, we're going to publish and then do it again, except it's going to be called football-phrase, and we're going to add keywords to the phrase match type. And remember, for phrase, we bid a little bit more. And then after that's published, we will go and add keywords to our exact match type ad group. And there is where we're going to bid the most. Now, here's the thing, and I really want to emphasize this. You should also set up an automatic campaign, which at a minimum is going to be one way to discover new keywords that maybe you didn't think of yourself. So with the automatic campaign, Amazon's going out there, figuring out what is relevant to your listing, and things that aren't relevant, they're going to stop serving those ads. You don't have to worry about wasted ad spend, because Amazon wants a good customer experience more than anything. And if they serve an irrelevant ad to a customer, that's no good for anybody. So it's only going to really hone in on what it finds to be effective, and you get that data on the back end. So you monitor your automatic ad campaign, take the keywords that are performing well, and move them into your manual campaigns, starting with either the broad ad group, or I personally like to just skip that and go straight to the phrase ad group, because it's closer in terms of match type. So it's gonna it's gonna basically supersede in terms of priority, because you also bid more on the phrase ad group. Okay, if you think it's a really good keyword that's really performing well, you could move it theoretically straight to the exact match ad group, where you're bidding the most, and that's probably going to be the most effective ad group that you have in that campaign on a relative basis. But the real hierarchy, as you could probably guess, is maybe you find new keywords in the automatic campaign, move them to the broad ad group. Then if it's performing well there, you prioritize it even more by moving it to the phrase ad group. And then you take your winners from the phrase ad group, move them to the exact ad group. You want to make sure that you're covering all your bases with your most effective keywords and prioritizing them, because that's going to be your bread and butter, where you're generating sales. You're going to also, with each sale you make, whether it's an advertised sale or not, increase your organic rank, because those sales that convert customers are a great signal to the Amazon algorithm. Hey, this listing is working. It's generating happy customers. It should be boosted in terms of visibility in search. Let's jump back in and finish creating the ad group and ad campaign. Now, the next thing within the ad group that we have the option of doing, but we don't have to do, is add negative keywords. These are keywords that if a customer types into the search bar, we do not want our ad displayed. Now, one prime example would be the word soccer, because, well, when I said football, I'm thinking American football. So I can go ahead and include the word soccer and then set the match type to negative phrase. So any query on Amazon, including the word soccer, which has a connotation to football, right, in other parts of the world outside the US, it will not display my ad. So I can go ahead and hit add keyword. And now that's helping me avoid potential wasted ad spend. So hopefully that was a decent example of a negative keyword. You can even do negative product targeting, and you can go ahead and include ASINs of products that you do not want advertised. You don't want essentially your ad being served on the product detail page, because sponsored product ads can be served on the product detail page of other products on Amazon. In the past, they actually had that as a separate ad type, but they rolled it all up under sponsored product ads. So that is something you can do. You can also exclude entire brands as well. Okay, that's it for the ad campaign. Next, let's go down here to the campaign itself, which is the parent to the ad group, as I mentioned earlier. So we need to select a bidding strategy first, and the default selection is dynamic bids up and down. Now this, Amazon's saying, based on 2022 data, delivered 1.8 times more sales at a 4 times lower ROAS, which is pretty amazing. I honestly didn't realize that it was that effective. I used to just use the down only, but now they're showing me that I've been making the wrong decision this whole time. So down only is an option as well, but dynamic bids up and down says we'll raise your bids by a maximum of 100% in real time when your ad may be more likely to convert a sale. So you're trusting the Amazon algorithm not to serve your ad when it's not as relevant, but when it is really relevant, you're allowing them to spend up to 100%, meaning double your bids, but they really believe strongly it should generate interest and generate a sale. Then you have the option of fixed bids as well, which I would just use down only instead of that, honestly. All right, bid adjustments. You don't have to do anything here, but you can. Now, you need to be seen to get clicked to get purchased on Amazon. I know that's obvious, but most products get seen at the top of search on page 1. Well, you can allow Amazon to dynamically adjust your bid if you're eligible to show up at the top of page 1, where you're gonna have the most effective ads served. And some people just go in and say, okay, 100%. That means if we bid 75 cents per click, we can now pay up to $1.50 per click if we're eligible to show up at the top of page 1. Again, just remember how much profit you have in your product, do the math in your head, and monitor your ad campaigns. Again, don't be scared. Don't shy away from this. Remember to check in. I don't know if, you don't need to do it daily, in my opinion, unless you're really bidding a lot. I've had calls with people who did bid a lot and they didn't manage their ad campaigns and they spent lots of money, not really effectively or as effectively as they could have. So just definitely don't forget about this stuff, but at least, once a week, check in. I just don't think you should be scared of it. If you've got effective ads creating sales, generating sales, again, it's going to have that flywheel effect where it boosts your organic visibility. And this is the best way right here, top of search, page 1. Rest of search, I would not be bidding nearly as much. Now, we already set our bids. So do we technically need to allow Amazon to adjust our bids for rest of search? No, we don't. We can just leave that at 0. Product pages, in the past, I had the worst time with this based on my personal experience when product pages were actually called a whole nother ad type. So I personally don't adjust this up either. But you should at least just monitor what is working and most effectively for you and, respond accordingly. If you think that having your ads served on product detail pages is working, then maybe you come in here and you say, okay, increase my bid per click by 25% for product pages. Moving on, now this is something you only need to do when you're setting up a campaign for the first time. So when we set up our phrase and our exact ad groups, we don't have to do this part. This is just naming the campaign. So what I might do is, if this is, for example, in my Seller Central account where I have my FBA products and my print-on-demand products commingled, I might do a naming convention where I say POD dash, and then I could say something like shirts dash football. Okay, so print-on-demand, and if it's my FBA products, I would just switch POD up to FBA, right? So you want to make it intuitive at least, because you can also search based on anything you want. What I'm saying is you can query your campaigns based on any text input of your choosing. So as long as you name them using a good naming convention, you're making your life easier down the line. So I could say POD, shirts, and then football. And then everything in this campaign is a football related t-shirt. And then I'm splitting them up by ad group based on the match type. Okay, broad, phrase, exact. Start date, I'm gonna go ahead and leave today's date. End date, I just leave it no end date. The time you might want to use that is if it's like seasonal and you want to do something special for like the holidays or, maybe for Halloween. You don't want to be advertising too aggressively outside of Halloween because it's not going to probably work as effectively. And here's the thing too, like you can have a budget dedicated. So if you have a special Halloween ad campaign for only Halloween products, you'd probably set a really high budget that you're running it during Halloween. But I might set a low budget of, $5 and just let this, run each day and monitor the effectiveness. If you're brand new to Amazon ads and you're still watching and you think, okay, Ryan, thank you for showing me. Now I want to jump in there. This is your fail safe right here. You know what I mean? You can start really low here. When really low means different things to different people. Amazon even suggests a daily budget. It says $12 a day. Then you just check in every now and then on the data and see how it's working. See what is working, what's not working. Remember, you control your bids. You can shift more money from your budget over to keywords that are effectively converting customers, and you can reduce your bids or turn off the keywords so that they're not advertised at all if they're not effectively converting clicks into sales, if that makes sense. Like if I have a shirt that says I love football, well, I love football shirt are going to be my primary keywords that I would put in an exact match ad group, and I would bid the most on those, you know what I mean? Because it's the text in the design. Sometimes it is that simple, but there's obviously a lot of other keywords too that you are not going to think of that are relevant that Amazon's going to help you find, and then also find the sweet spot for your bids. The last section here is a new one. It's in beta. It's all about automated rules. So you can automate certain tasks related to your ad campaign using rules, and AI is going to help you do that so it's less of a burden on you. For instance, here you go. This is under the Learn More. And by the way, don't ever hesitate to click Learn More when you're in any part of Amazon, especially the ads console, because they have these little helpful pop-ups that'll explain what's going on in case I'm not there to explain it to you. So it says during major retail events like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, etc., you can use automated bid rules to optimize your sponsored product campaigns. These pre-configured rules automatically adjust your campaign bids to help maximize visibility when customer traffic is the highest. So if we set that $5 campaign budget in the month of October, well, when it gets to November, December, you're going to want to increase that budget because there's going to be so much more traffic on Amazon. If you max out your budget, you're leaving money on the table during the most critical time of year. This is going to basically assist you in doing that by dynamically adjusting your budget during these high traffic times so that you don't have to remember to go in and do it. That's just one example, guys. But again, I'm sure they're going to add to this and expand what's possible. Bid automation, etc. They've got additional resources here like a holiday calendar. So that's something that's really cool, and I can't wait to see what that expands into over time as they leverage more automation and AI to help us really perfect our ad campaigns. So all that's left to do now, guys, is click Launch Campaign, and before you know it, we are advertising on Amazon. How hard was that? I know this video was about 20 minutes long, but I wanted to make sure you not only launched the campaign, but understood what you're doing and what you're working towards. Amazon ads are the most effective way of giving your new product listings a chance to be seen, be clicked, be purchased. And from there, that flywheel effect begins where, okay, you converted a customer. Now we know what they searched for that led them to your listing that they purchased. Next time somebody goes looking for the same thing, maybe we should show them your listing because it worked before. And the more it works, the more organic visibility you're going to gain. And if you're running ad campaigns in combination with that, that's how you create unstoppable, potentially evergreen or trends. It works just as well for trends, but those big winners essentially lead to a full-time income from print on demand. But it starts with Amazon ads, the only surefire way to get visibility to your product listings. And I hope you found this tutorial helpful to get started in the ads console with sponsored product ads. Don't be afraid to check out sponsored brand ads as well, as we talked about earlier. Thank you for watching till the end. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon with another new video.